If we look at what each of us sitting here is, it's not one band or one frequency. We go back to the metaphor of the electromagnetic spectrum. Vibgyor is our waking state, white light. Infrared is like our subconscient, and ultraviolet is like our superconscient. So we are this whole band. Now, in waking state, there's constantly an influx from the subconscient and there's a descent from the superconscient. Yeah? So, our waking state is a mixture of what comes from above, from superconscient, and what comes from the subconscient. And Sri Aurobindo has said again and again that everything in our yoga, whatever we achieve, gets completely reversed if the light doesn't go all the way down to the subconscient. Because whatever progress we make, if there's an uprising from the subconscient, that's again wiped out again and again. And Mother's written about a phenomena called subconscient pessimism, which is this dark mood that comes into us for which we can't explain. We just feel a kind of gloominess, a kind of low, but we can't exactly put our finger on why we are feeling it. And the Mother calls this subconscient pessimism. So it's very important to bring down the light of the superconscient all the way down to the subconscient, and in that sense clean out the subconscient, which is a very difficult work, but we have to make our beginning somewhere. A Mother did say that in 1956, when there was the descent of the supramental light, she said waves and waves of the subconscient came and swallowed it up. So it's there in the subconscient, and from there we have to make it more and more conscious. Okay, so that's what really we'll look at today. Sri Aurobindo elaborates on the phenomenon where individuals, especially those with significant spiritual potential, often encounter a dark double or opposing force. So what Sri Aurobindo is saying is that if I carry a very special light in me, I'll also carry its shadow. For example, he says that very often a person can be extremely generous, for instance, but he'll have a shadow in him which will make him very stingy at times. Or if I have a potential for great oneness, my shadow will be a sense of exaggerated superiority or inferiority, which is the opposite of oneness. So that's called our dark persona, the light in us that casts an equal and opposite shadow. And the lodging place for that shadow is often in our subconscious mind, the subconscient. I can't make a sweeping statement like that for everything we have a dark shadow. But as Sri Aurobindo says that if we have a very special purpose to fulfill in this life, we carry a light to fulfill it. But in the play of existence, that light casts an equal and opposite shadow. Yeah? So that, yeah?
Direct opposition is the genius of nature.
Yes.
So every man carries the light and darkness already in oneself.
Yes. And Mother once said something quite startling. She said, a transformed asura is more precious to God than the original light. A bit of darkness which has been transformed to light in evolution has a greater role to play than something that was already light and didn't have to descend into darkness. So every time a darkness changes to light, it becomes very, very powerful, a very powerful force of light. So that's what Sri Aurobindo, it's a very beautiful concept that if we have some very deep darkness in us, we should know that we carry an equal and opposite light. And the purpose in this existence is to transform that shadow to the light, not stay stuck in the shadow. So now I found Carl Jung, the modern, not so modern, but I found his words very, very useful in understanding what Mother and Sri Aurobindo say about the shadow. So Carl Jung says, man on the whole is less good than he imagines himself or wants to be. Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's consciousness life, the blacker and denser it is. That means the less I'm conscious of it, the more dense and dark it is. So Carl Jung often quoted his patients of somebody who prided himself on being very calm and suddenly had an outburst of rage which he couldn't understand, and he asked that where did this come from. So the point is, he was never calm. He was just somebody who kept suppressing his emotions and anger, making the shadow more and more dense and dark. Or for example, if somebody prides himself on never feeling inferior because he feels arrogant and superior, it's very possible that he has a very deep suppressed emotion of inferiority, which the arrogance and the superiority is just a mask for it. So the shadow has different ways in hiding in us.